Thank you for the intro. Thank you. And I had been just watching Dr. Krishna Kumar talking about the astrology, and there's Mr. Krishna Murthy who is on line, Dr. Sethuram, Professor Anuradha, all are there. You are Mrs. Rashmi Krishnamurthy, who just talked a little ago. Very nice to have met. I have passed on this message to lot many people of my, people, those who are connected to me are in thousands. So I've sent the message to them. I don't know whether they'll be able to connect to this and talk and see. Well, thank you for the intro. And yeah, I had been in Indian Air Force for 15 years and came out of the service in 1984. Since then, I had been looking for, who comes to astrology, if you take it in a very straight form, the one who gets desperate in life gets into astrology at the end. So I was one among that. I had been looking for many profession and business, and finally, after nothing worked out in a proper order, so incidentally, I have entered into astrology. I am very much scientific, absolutely, and this particular system was totally based on scientific. How that totally based on, how one can be totally based on scientific without any present connection, you can't say that. But how it is scientific, because sun you can see every day. You can see a sun in the morning, and every day, almost every day, if not during the waning time, you may not be able to see the moon, but however you can see the moon every day. There are celestial bodies. Who controls them? Who controls them? The God Almighty controls everything is the fact, no doubt. But how these things go around without any sun wakes up is only 2 days in a year. Otherwise, it has to take its stride to the north and the east according to the Dakshinayinam and Uttarayanam, etc. And everything happens, everything in the sense, the sun and its planets, right from Mercury, the first planet, which is about 0.3 AU from sun. 1 AU is 15 crore kilometers in reality. 1 AU is called 1 astronomical unit. Instead of using it as a number, they have started using it as AU. So 0.57 AU is the Venus from sun, and 1 AU is the sun from Earth from sun. Then 1.9 AU is the Mars. Then it goes on. More than 5 AU is the Jupiter, and 7 AU is the Saturn. And then Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, etc. Okay. They all move in a definite path. Absolutely, it's a moving in a definite path. But for accuracy purpose, when we take, there are some variations, a little bit of variation. The moon travels over a nakshatra for 24 hours, sometimes 22 hours, sometimes even 26 hours. And this is given with the, the elongevity of the Earth and the movement that has the say about the longer or shorter one. As well, ascendant is ascendant travels for 2 hours. 2 hours into 12 makes 24 hours in a day. All the ascendant are covered, right from sun to sun, sunrise to next day's sunrise. Whether they are all perfectly 2 hours, definitely no. They are all something like 1 hour 40 minutes to 2 hours 16 minutes. something, it varies. It is not exactly whatever I say is to be taken into consideration. It will vary from one to another. Well, every day, and according to the Dakshinayana, Uttarayana, and longitude, latitude, everything has the substance for it. Now, in this, I was given with the time slot at 7:30 to 8, but I have so I have been giving all this note to you. So why I gave this note? Because this shows the astrology is totally based on scientific, because you know what is the speed of Earth around itself and around the sun. The Earth rotates at a speed of 1,000 miles per hour, and when it rotates of its own, it takes about 25.
Sir, one advice, maybe you can switch off your video,
so that is
because
the
I think the network is having a problem. People are not able
to.
Of the video, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to put this video off.
You can just switch off the camera button.
Yeah, right. Okay, fine.
Now we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, that was actually very much blurred. My photo also was very blurred. Well, right. So, see, when I was actually approached, I had a big doubt that you are mentioning about Vedic astrology. I have no much knowledge about the Vedic astrology, but only this scientific astrology. There are many astrologies in the field, right from Vedic astrology, Kabbalah astrology, and Western astrology, and so Chinese astrology, so many things. But always we claim ours is very good, right? So that is the thing. But Vedic astrology, how accuracy is the Vedic astrology, as well you can consider the Western astrology is also accurate, but they follow a different pattern than our pattern. Our pattern is connected to Dasa Bhukti and in the movement of planets, movement of Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and Saturn over that particular star. Ascendant also. That is the thing we take, and accordingly we move ahead in the transit point. But otherwise, Dasa Bhukti makes the major role in our astrology. Whereas in Western astrology, they take the progression of Sun and the solar return or lunar return or the Saturn return, or Saturn return is celebrated in Western countries. Everybody, your Saturn started from one point and ended at that particular point. That particular point, when it reaches Saturn back there, it will be around between 29 and 30 years. So that is being celebrated. But whereas we call it Sadai Sati or something of that sort, and Saturn is placed in a very shabby role in our Vedic astrology. That is a paining thing. But without Saturn, you cannot live. You don't have a longevity at all. Without Saturn, you don't have longevity. That you must remember. Longevity is the one which keeps you alive. Yet longevity means the day you are born and the last day. So the Saturn covers both of your birth and the end also. So you draw a line, and the starting of that line is you entered this birth, and the end of the line is the demise of your life. So this is the way Saturn is to be considered. And Saturn is mostly taken for permanency or otherwise it is considered to be very slow in motion. You know that it takes 2.5 hours to pass, 2.5 years to pass one house, and whereas moon takes only 2 quarter days to come around, 2 quarter days to pass one sign. So there is a very big, vast difference between Saturn's movement and the moon's movement, and they are rather the reciprocal, totally the other way around, 180-degree opposite also you can say. So out of that, our Mahaguru K.S. Krishnamurti, he had a very long study of astrology, of all the astrology on earth for nearly about 40 years. And then he derived one particular pattern. You know, you draw two lines and there is a hypotenuse also in between. One line is drawn in this vertical to the other, then automatically there is one hypotenuse. It is like that he had drawn a line between the Vedic astrology and Western astrology, amalgamating both of them and drawn a line that is called Krishnamurti Pattadi system of astrology. I was taken aback with that particular system. It was an amazing thing, because for me, who wants to follow anything scientific, I cannot follow if someone says that no, it is Vedic. But Vedic in the sense, Vedic is very good, but blindly if you ask me to believe certain thing, that is not on. So I cannot follow anything blindly. I need the reasoning out. That is done in this system of astrology. And however, you know, your the result, the combination of the planets or the aspect of the planets or no other, and these results were derived by our Rishi Muni. See, the scientist of Western world is the physical scientist, but our scientists were Rishis and Munis. They were subtle scientists. So they have arrived watching the movement of the moon and other planets. And if this combination takes place, that is going to be rain. If the other combination takes place, there's going to be some calamity kind of, whether this is connected to the earth, like earthquake, or connected to the water, the cyclonic, or it is connected to the fire. Everything is there. You know, we have our elements, fire, earth, air, and water. And there is one element which is left, that is called your sky or ether, but that is also accommodated within. So these things, whenever a calamity occurs between the planets in a earthy sign, that takes place as your earthquake. When it occurs in the water, then it is cyclone. Or, you know, all different things like air and fire. Everything is enumerated by the erstwhile scientists of our Vedic system. They were our Rishis and Munis. Without them, we would have had absolutely nothing. I don't think we have had anything. See, the Vedic pattern of our Parasara system of astrology is the base for all. For all, in the sense, all the system, whatever you practice, whether it is a KP system or any other system, you have that, you know, the Vedic system is the base. And with that, we come out. See, we are using the Vimshottari Dasa, which is persistent in the Vedic system. And we use all of the planets' movements and ascendant, when the sun rises, ascendant rises, everything is made by that. Well, now, one of the wonderful thing, whatever, see, our K.S. Krishnamurti, the creator of KP system, has made many, he had introduced many things in the astrology. And the first thing, if you take the first thing, it is the cuspal calculation. Cuspal calculation is based on the Placidus system. That Placidus system gives account to the variation connected to the elongation of the movement. You know, it is not a, Earth is not a globe, and the movement of planets also not a global. It is, I mean, it is not a like globe, like round. So it is not a clear round. It is elliptical. It makes elliptical path. When it is elliptical path, there are two places which are elongated and two places which are contracted. So these things are to be given some consideration. So that is why he has opted for the Placidus system of astrology, so that Placidus calculation of cuspal position is the best, and we use that in our KP system. But in Parasara, they use the Shripadi Paddhati, which is accounting for the globe-like. It is like a round, 30 degrees square. But in Placidus, no house is 30 degrees. It will vary. See, systematically, every house will have only 30 degrees. But cuspally, on cuspal basis, it will change from, say, 32 degrees to 26 degrees or 27 degrees also. One cusp will be of 26 degrees either, or it can be of 31 or 32 degrees also. So this is the way how they have calculated the cuspal division, and whichever the planet which is in that particular cusp is considered to be, suppose if the second cusp extends up to the third house, and that is happening at the 23 degree, and the third house starts at 23 degree. Naturally, if a planet is in somewhere in 14 or 15 degree, in the Vedic system, it is assumed as third house. But in KP system, it is assumed as being in the second house. So this is the difference in the KP system of astrology. Then that second one is the greatest one, you can say, is called the ruling planets. This ruling, everyone knows in astrology, everyone knows what is a ruling planet and what these ruling planets can come out with. But he had made a phenomenal approach with that Vedic, with that ruling planet, and those ruling planets can give anything to you. Anything means what? Suppose you put up a question and I check up the ruling planet, that moment of your question is arising at one particular time, and I make a chart around that ruling planet, and that will give you the reply, but the reply will be yes or no. When it says yes, it is definitely yes. When it says no, it is no. So that is the way how the ruling planet can bring you the result. Now, I would like to tell you how this ruling planet and how these things are actually derived, how you can come out with a very good ruling planet, etc. What is that good in the ruling planet? Ruling planet is the ruling planet. And what is that good? First of all, let me tell you what are all the ruling planets. See, the ascendant falls, or rather your east rising at the time of your birth or at the time of your question. Your question arises at a particular point, and at particular time, maybe 10 hours, 45 minutes and 39 seconds, the morning hours. At that time, what is the east rising? East rising means the ascendant is rising every time in the east. And what is the ascendant position at that particular time? Because at sunrise, the first ascendant has started and gone. And then after 2 hours, the second ascendant will start and go off. And then it will go on. But your time, your question arises at one particular, see, either your question arises or a child is taking birth, that is the time we have to take it for our ascendant. That ascendant will have a sign lord. Suppose your ascendant falls in Gemini, then the sign lord becomes Mercury. And if the ascendant falls at 16 degree, then your star lord becomes Arudra, that is Rahu. So the sign lord Mercury and star lord Rahu are the ruling planets of the ascendant. Then what is the moon today that you can find from the ephemeris? From the ephemeris, you can find every day what is the condition of, what is the movement and what time the moon starts and what time it ends. Everything is given in the ephemeris. So you check up from the ephemeris and find the moon's position. Say, for instance, today moon is in Anuradha. Anuradha is a star of Saturn located in the Scorpio, and Scorpio is owned by Mars. So moon's star lord becomes Mars, and moon sign lord becomes Mars, and moon star lord becomes Saturn. So you have got already Mercury as the ascendant sign lord, Rahu as the ascendant star lord, moon as the, Mars as the moon sign lord, and Saturn as the moon's star lord. Then finally, you have the day lord. Day lord. Say, for instance, today, no. See, please do not take all the datas. It is the datas, whatever given is just like that now, the instantaneously what has come up. I am not calculated anything. I have not done anything. And today, I don't know. I don't exactly, whatever the nakshatra I have given, that's also not relevant to it. Not relevant to this time. And but the day is today Sunday, so we can take that day. So these 5 planets are called ruling planets, and these 5 planets can give you the result whether whatever you have asked is going to be right or wrong. Where from this result is coming? Well, see, when a question is to be asked, that question has to come from your heart. So you must feel that question, that I want to know this because I'm very seriously affected by it. I must know it. When you think that I must know it, automatically it should emanate from your bottom of your heart. So when it comes, that particular position is called the unconscious state of mind. All of you know that what is the stages of your mind: the conscious state, the subconscious state, and the unconscious state of mind. This conscious state is the one which is prevalent right now in front of you and me. This is called the conscious state. And subconscious state, what happened a few years ago, so maybe 2 or 3 years ago, if you can remember that, you may be remembering that. So that is coming into the subconscious state. And the unconscious state is the one which has even started at the time of your conception. But it takes some months for the fetus to remember all those things that we have in our epics. You know, our Arjuna's son, who learned from the womb itself how to make the chakra, what is that? And who could not know how to come out of it. So that means a fetus can understand. This is not what I am telling you. It is prevalent right from Vedic days onwards. Right? So the child which is born will carry the karmic influence of the previous, the predecessors, the karmic influences carried to the child through man to the women. The man gives a seed, and the woman is the fertile land, and the child grows in that land, and with the karmic influence. And when the destiny forms, when the child falls on the ground, because when a child is inside the womb of a mother, that child is covered with the greatest security called placenta, that nothing can penetrate through the placenta to affect the child until unless that is punctured or the LICA fluid is leaked out. Then the human, the one who is carrying that child, her problem, her, the blood can mix up with that, and that will be influencing the child. Otherwise, if the child is coming out in total placenta, this particular thing also, that there are a lot of doctors around, and I don't know whether they are physical doctors or PhDs, but the only for the human, the placenta and the child comes out, but otherwise for other species like cattle, etc., the calf comes out first, the placenta comes later. So this is one of the protection, a great protection by the nature. And when the child comes out and its umbilical cord is cut, that is considered as the birth time of child, because the moment the umbilical cord is cut, the child starts taking a breath of its own directly, and it makes a very great cry. You call that as the first cry, and that first cry is called the time of birth of the child. We correct this time by having some data. There are some data to be corrected, because the moon is called the body and the ascendant is called the soul. These two must have some connection. Then only a child can be alive. Otherwise, it can be called as a body only. So when ascendant and moon have some connection whatsoever, it is not that there are some parameters. Whenever you take a planet like moon, we take the star out of it. When you take a cusp like ascendant, we take the sublord of it. These must have some correlation with one another. Then the child is considered to be born. But this may not have connection, but the child is there. That means that time is wrong. We correct that time to match with the moon and the ascendant. That is called the birth time correction also. So we do that. We do that in a big level. And after all that, but whereas in a question, when a question arises, that doesn't have any correction, because the question has come out and that is still hanging in your mind, and we are going to give a reply. If that doesn't have this correlation means, you see, the body is nothing but your question, and the soul, that is the Atma level of that question. And if there is no relation, then the question is null and void or irrelevant. You are asking, will I win this particular election? And there is no correlation. That means the question, whatever you have put in, is not relevant. You have asked something, keeping something in your mind. So that is why we don't come out with the result. Now with that, we arrive through these ruling planets, and we come out with the result, and this result stands very good. And for which, what you have to do is to bring the question out from the heart of your mind, from the base of your mind. Definitely. How to bring it out? You see, all the characters, whenever you are in a stress, naturally you have nothing else in your mind except that particular stress. At that time, when a question arises, that will definitely depict what you are intending to ask. So that is what we come out with the reply. And that is how the ruling planet is applied And you see, it is only I can tell you how this is done, but I cannot give you the application of it because it's a very short time. And another thing, that's a big deal. You need to know something about these particular things. There may be so many of you must be knowing or aware of this, but even then, I must know that what you know. Then only it will be possible for us to make an application of it. So until then, we should actually just be aware that it can be brought out. So the gentleman who had been talking before me, he was mentioning something about the corporate astrology. We do that. We do corporate astrology. By corporate astrology, what we are doing, I will just tell you. See, every human on earth is given to only 12 divisions of life. Only 12 divisions of life. The gameplay of the 9 planets make your 12 houses flourish or perish. So you have to find out each and every house is how much valued. We have a tool to make it. Make it means it's absolutely a perfect deal. It should be a perfect deal. Otherwise, there is no point. See, the Dasa Bhukti is derived like, how much has gone, how much is left. So that is where the balance of Dasa, they say. Like that, each and every point, every nakshatra, everything is moving on the nakshatra. By the way, our KP system is also called stellar astrology. Stellar astrology is nothing but based on star. So star is the most immediate, most intrinsic valuable thing, without which the KP system cannot excel. So we are supposed to be thorough with the nakshatra, star lord. Around, it is after all, around this 360 degree, you have only 27 stars. They are distributed in a very systematic way of 13 degree, 20 minutes each star. And it is not a big issue. If you can learn, if you can apply some mind over it, it is very simple. You can easily understand and you can learn it. It's not an issue. You can, if you think you can. Well, so with that, we can make things happen in astrology. And the corporate astrology is to tell you about what are all the people connected to that, and each and every cusp or the 12 houses are valued how much, by which we can find out who has the the sales capacity, who has the estate capacity, who has the money management capacity, who has the labor management capacity, who is the overall in charge of all that, and who has the inheritance to do this particular business, who has the benefit and who is to be put on to purchase. See, if somebody is to be put on to purchase, somebody is to be put on to sales. So the sales is the the very important thing is sales for any business, whether it is a business or a service or education or whatever it is. You have to sell yourself. Otherwise, you cannot flourish. Then as well, you have to buy also. For your own concern, you need to buy it. How to buy it? That's a big skill. Buying is a big skill because you have to buy it at the optimum price. You are not to spend a penny more than its own original price. Then only you can gain some profit. All these things are given consideration under corporate astrology is derived. This is what we do in our astroved.com. And our astroved.com is an American company owned by an American Indian. And we from astroved.com give very polite and decent service. And we have our own inbuilt, the Homa centers for various remedies and all those remedies. See, we are not against. See, when I say that I am a scientific astrologer, I don't say that I am against any remedies. Remedies are your will and pleasure. If you want to go in for a remedy, absolutely you must go in for a remedy. Otherwise, your mind won't be pacified. Your mind is all through. So better you answer your mind accordingly. You can proceed with the, using the astrology. See, the matter is that how to use the astrology. It is not that everybody is using the astrology in the world. Only those who want to use the astrology, they must know what they are supposed to know or what they are supposed to ask. Well, I think you have any time, or you see, I have another 8 minutes to go. Would you like me to stop, Ms. Rashmi? You are the one whom I know.
Yeah, please continue, sir.
Yeah,
another few minutes.
Okay. Now, because you said that there are some conclusive parts, so I thought whether I need to continue until the allotted time.
Yeah, another 5 minutes you can continue.
Yeah, okay, fine, right. So, astrology is a science as it is, that the way how you take it. See, the God gives you all, but the God is very good. God will not harm you. But the planets are not like that. Planet will give you and will take away also from you. That is why they call some planets are good and some planets are bad. As a matter of fact, we in our system, KP system, we don't call any cusp as bad or any planets are bad. All are good at one point of time, and everybody is bad at one point of time. See, they call 11th house as the house of profit or gain. But for education purpose, when you want to do the education, for 4th house, 11 becomes the 8th house. And the 8th house is the one which causes all kind of problems or disturbances or damages, what all you have on earth. All the damages are caused by the 8th house. So the 11th house, that means your happiness, or 11th house is nothing but your satisfaction, fulfillment of your desire. And your fulfillment of your desire alone can damage your education. So that means, how to understand this? So that means you have to set aside your happiness to do your studies. This is as simple as that. You have to do your studies sincerely, without giving room to your aberrations and happiness or satisfaction. So if you think that whatever you have studied is satisfied, that's all. There ends the matter. You will not go further to go for a higher studies or whatever the studies you want. So that is why the greatest 11th house becomes bad for someone. And the 12th house is called the extinct. It is called absent. 12th house is for your hospitalization or jail or going out of the country. You are not in this country, you go out. But 12th house is considered to be very good for those who are intending to go abroad for their profession. But if the 11th house operates, then the 12th house is damaged, because it becomes the 12th house for the 12th house itself. So the 11th house makes a damage to those who are intending to go abroad to seek their profession. So these are all the things, how you take it. See, by 8th house is bad for all other aspects, but 8th house is the one which gives you longevity. So we can consider it this way, that God has given you a very good longevity to suffer all your problems and come back to Him. you can consider it on the Vedic basis like this, that 8th house is your longevity, a very long longevity, and that much of longevity is given to you to suffer everything, or otherwise to uh, finish up all your karmic influences from the previous life or from the predecessors. There are two things. See, people say that whatever you have inherited from your previous birth is reflected now, and whatever you do now is going to be reflected in your next birth. But there are many who don't believe this, but they have to believe that they had predecessors. And whatever the predecessors have been doing or inheriting, or they were incurring some karma to you, that you have to enjoy that. If that is a good karma, you can enjoy it. If it is a bad karma, then you enjoy that suffering. So enjoying the suffering is the best way that you can pass your life easily. See, if you feel bad about something, and if you feel bad, if something can happen, then you can feel bad. But if nothing is going to happen, then what is the use of feeling bad? You take it easy and walk up. That is going to give you a easy life. Don't carry on your head, I mean to say, as a pressure or whatever. You always keep smiling. Your smile will pick up with others also. It is a contagious disease. If you start smiling, your opponent is bent upon smiling. No way, he cannot cry in front of you when you smile. So that is the only way that you spread your happiness to the people. Happiness is the ultimate aim, whether you go in for astrology or any Vedic science or whatever, you need to attain your happiness. And I wish all of you to have a very good time and happy time to come.
That's
Thank
nice.
you.
A few words I would like to add on here.
Yeah, right.
When you said we need to go through that happily, there are remedies also which is recommended by uh, our astrology, right? So I just want to add here, how do we understand that?
It is your own will and pleasure to do the remedies. See, whenever a planet is causing you some problem, or you need some benefit out of that planet, then you go and pray. You pray that planet, that would give you some benefit. That is all. It is not for, see, you have got into some problem, to ward off it. If you want to go and do some remedy, that is not on, that cannot be evaded. That cannot be done. You want something, you just pray. The prayer is nothing but in the form of a homa or the havan or whatever it is. You can do it. That is according to the planet. It depends upon the matter and the planets. We from KP system don't say anything in general. Absolutely, it is particular to that particular person. Yeah. Anything more?
That is from audience point of view, actually, I just wanted to ask that question because many people ask about remedies, and they go to astrologers to, ask for various remedy measures, either through Homa, Havana, or through mantras. So, yeah, this has been a very open discussion in various forums.
Everything has significance. Mantras have definitely very great significance. Like Rudram, etc. They have very great impact on your brain. That brain, our CMD of our astroved.com, Dr. Pillai, he had envisaged certain mantras for activating that particular part of the chromosome, so that you become a good student in mathematics. The mathematics can be brought in. It is just by chanting few mantras. And all those left temporal, right temporal, and front lobe, all this everywhere, everything has got some connection. And you might, if you have come across the Rudram, there they in that particular thing, it is all mentioned. They give very good, brain uplift. So mantras have definitely values.